Hello, friends. Welcome to another week of distance learning. This week, we are going to continue practicing point of view. This week, you will be working on writing different points of views using a picture. So if you have not reviewed Monday's video lessons on point of view from last week, please stop this video and go back and review point of view and perspective. This week, you are going to be doing a poster project online using a picture and deciding what the perspectives are in that picture, and then picking a perspective and writing what is going on from first person point of view and third person point of view. So again, it's really important that you go back and you review those notes and look at those clue words for first person and third person before you do this assignment, because that will be a huge part in helping you write your narrative. All right, so this is the example that I did, and it's very similar to what you guys will be doing. You will be having or given a picture. You will be writing in the perspectives from that picture, and then you will choose one of the perspectives and write what is happening in the picture from first person point of view and third person point of view. Okay, so this is the one that I chose as the example. In this picture, what I would do first if I was doing this, and what you should be doing, is you should look at the picture, make observations. We have done this a lot in class with inferencing and other practices. So what am I noticing? What am I seeing? What's going on? So in the picture, I can see that there is a little girl that is on a bigger bike, and she is looking like she kind of has a smile on her face. I notice that the bike does not have training wheels. I also noticed that there is a man behind her that looks like it probably is her dad. He is, what it looks like, is holding onto the back of her bike, which tells me that maybe he is helping her learn how to ride a bike for the first time without training wheels. I noticed that there is a little boy in the background that's running after them, and I would assume that that would be maybe her little brother. I noticed that they are outside. It's a sunny day. They look like they're at a park. So my guess what's going on here is that it is the little girl's first time learning how to ride a big girl bike without training wheels. I have personal experience with that. I have learned how to ride a bike without training wheels, and many of you have as well. So I'm going to use my experience from that to try to write about what's going on in the picture. So the first thing that I needed to do, I wrote down the perspectives in the picture. So the perspectives are who could be telling a story in the picture. Again, the perspective is who could be telling a story in the picture. So the first perspective that I see is the little girl. She's also the daughter. Okay. I see a little boy, so he is another person that's in the picture, or it's his son and her brother. I also see a dad. It could be an uncle, it could be a neighbor, but what I am deciding to choose is that they are a family. It's her dad and her brother, and she's learning how to ride a bike. So I'm going to exit out of this. The perspective that I'm going to choose to write my point of view from is the little girl. I'm choosing this because I have experience with learning how to ride a bike. I don't have too much experience with teaching kids how to ride a bike. We've taught Zach how to ride a bike without training wheels. That was more of his dad that taught him. So I'm going to go ahead with my experience of the little girl. So I'm going to go back to presenting. So in this picture, I'm going to talk about the little girl's experience in riding a bike. So when I wrote this in first person, I remember those clue words, and those clue words are I, me, and mine. Okay, so when I'm writing from first person point of view, those are the type of words that I had to include in my narrative. So over here, in first person point of view, I wrote about a time when I thought about when I learned how to ride a bike. Of course, it was a long time ago, but I kind of remember a little bit and being a little bit scared and nervous. So when I wrote this, I really made sure to put those feeling words in there because remember, first person point of view will be her experience, her telling the story from her experience of learning how to ride a bike. Versus third person point of view would be as if you were someone watching her learn how to ride a bike. So let's say you're sitting at the park and you're watching this happen. That would be third person. First person would be putting yourself in her shoes, pretend you are the little girl riding the bike, and that's how you would ride it. So I am going to read you my first person narrative of what happened, pretending I was a little girl. As I stepped onto the bike, it started to wobble, and I was glad my dad was holding on to me. Even with him holding on, I was still afraid of falling and getting hurt. However, once we started moving, I felt balanced and strong. I began pedaling faster and faster. My dad started to let go, and I felt free as I raced down the path, my little brother chasing behind me. Okay, I added a lot of detail in here, and that is what I am expecting of you guys. This is not going to be just a quick little, I stepped on the bike, I was nervous, my dad let go, and I was done. You need to really use those details in paragraph writing that we've talked about and really put yourself in her shoes or whatever the picture that you're going to be doing and write details, okay? So in here, what you notice is I used the word I. I also used the word my. I included other people that I see in the picture. I said my little brother. I said my dad. So those are the clue words that tell you that that is written from her point of view, pretending I was her riding a bike. Again, lots of details, walking through these steps of what's going on. All right, third person point of view. Like I said, it would be as if you were watching what is happening in the picture from an outsider's point of view, okay? So you're not choosing a perspective, you are describing what is happening in the picture. I did base it off of this to kind of help me with a story for it. So third person point of view, you're using the clue words he, she, them, they, okay? So look for those as I read this. It was her first day learning how to ride a bike without training wheels. Luckily, she had her dad and little brother to be right by her side. As she stepped onto the bike, it started to wobble under her. Her dad noticed her face was tense and held tightly onto the back of the bike. She started pedaling and her pace quickened. Her dad was running to keep up with her. Slowly, he started to let go of her bike and she was off on her own. Okay, so it's very similar to what happened over here. Again, lots of very explicit details of what is going on. Okay, remember, write it in steps of what's happening in the picture. I would not want you to say something like, in the picture, the little girl is riding a bike and her dad was helping her. That is not a paragraph. That is not writing a detailed description of what is going on. That is what you are doing here, writing a detailed description of what is happening in the picture. So in here, you will notice clue words such as her, she, her dad, her again. So there's lots of those pronouns in there that tell you it's third person. So your assignment will be to do exactly this with a different picture. So here are the directions for what you are going to be doing. This is going to take you all week. It should take you all week because it should be a well-written descriptive paragraph for each point of view. So you will be completing the same assignment on your own with a different picture. You will have two choices of pictures to choose from. I picked two out that I thought that maybe you could relate to one more than the other. Choose the one that you can relate to and understand what's going on in the picture better. Okay? I have created a rough draft page for you. You must write a rough draft of your paragraphs. If you choose to write a rough draft on a separate piece of paper, please take a picture of it and send it to me. There's my email address, or you can text it to my Google phone number, okay? This is a huge chunk of your reading for, huge chunk of your grade for reading and for writing. Lots of things that Mrs. Connor and myself will be grading you on here. So here's what I would do when you go to do this. Choose a picture. Number one, write down all the perspectives in the picture. So that is that part down here where you write down all the perspectives. Who could be telling a story in the picture? Next, start with first person point of view, write a rough draft. So in your perspectives, just like I did, choose one of the people in the picture and write it from their perspective, first person point of view. Again, I chose the little girl because I related to her and I thought that would be the easiest for me to do. You should do the same. Then write a rough draft of third person point of view. Okay, so that would be you writing what's happening in the picture as if you were watching it happen. You are describing what is happening. Okay, then you need to edit both versions. When I say that you need to do rough draft, it's because a lot of you have been turning in work and you are not using capital letters. You are not doing periods. You are writing run-on sentences. You're only writing 1 or 2 sentences. This should be a long, well-written paragraph. And if you are doing a rough draft and editing it, it should be perfect when you turn it in. Then when you are ready to do your final draft, type in your final draft into the document in Google Classroom. Please double check your work before turning it in. A lot of you are typing it and thinking that you're done and you're turning it in, and it is not great quality. There are still a lot of errors. Utilize the computer. It is telling you where your errors are. And please make sure you are pressing turn in. If you don't press turn in, the assignment shows up as incomplete and missing. So here is your first choice. So this is what it will look like for you. It will be in a Google slide. And the first thing you need to do again, who could be telling a story in this picture? I see 3 different perspectives here. Write them down here. Remember, when you're typing in, just click and type, okay? Then on your rough draft, pick one of the people, one of the perspectives to write it from their point of view, first person. Then write what's happening from third person as if you're watching this happen. Here is your second option, okay? There's lots of people in this picture here. Again, first thing, think to yourself, what is happening in this picture? What is going on? Who could be telling a story here? What are the perspectives? Pick one to write from first person and then write it from third person point of view, okay? Again, if this is confusing for you or if you have questions, you need to come into my office hours. I would be more than happy to help you out and walk you through it. That is why I am here. Mrs. Connor would be happy to do the same. Please put a lot of effort into this. This is a huge chunk of your grade. In class, this would be an assignment that would take a whole week, if not longer, okay? With writing it all out, writing rough drafts, editing your rough drafts, peer editing, writing your final in very well written form and turning it in, it would take a week to a week and a half to complete this, okay? So again, this will be in Google Classroom. If you have any questions, please come see me.